Welcome back, everybody, to Season 1, Episode 14, UAB Blazers, The Beginning, Dynasty Playthrough. This is going to be, this episode, I think what we're going to cover is the final game of the season. So I'm in Week 14, Rivalry Week, and I am playing on the road at Memphis. And this is the last game of the season. I'm currently 4-7, and I think Memphis is 7-4, I believe. But they're big favorites. They're like a 21-point favorite on me here, so this is going to be a struggle game, I think. I've got everything set up as far as my game planning goes. So I'm basically just going out there with a balanced attitude and balanced focus. Going to run normal tempo on them. I've kind of been running fast these last couple weeks, but I think on this one, kind of going back and studying some of the history on some of the stronger opponents I've played, I think I'm just going to slow my tempo down. Having Ferguson in there, I'm starting Ferguson over Arlen. Arlen just really hasn't done much the last few weeks, but I'm going to keep him in the RPO. In the RPO package, so I'm going to try and get some periodic runs and options and stuff like that out of him, where he's definitely going to play, but he's not going to start. And I want to go with Ferguson, and I think Ferguson is definitely the much better passer. And looking at some of the history on Memphis, everybody up to this point, I've kind of had a passing preference more on the short area. Kind of looking at some of the play analysis on Memphis, I feel like I'm just going to target them more on a medium over the middle. Primary receiver is still going to be the best one I've got, McCants, and of course Ware's going to remain my third down and goal line back. I'm going to focus inside running on these guys. I think that's kind of where they seem to really kind of take the biggest hits from it. And so I've kind of worked out from the play analysis, I've come up with my different formations and different defenses of what I'm going to try and really predominantly play, and some specific plays that seem to kind of work well. They've either worked well against Memphis, and they've also worked well pretty much when I've actually used them against other opponents too, and kind of picking and choosing and seeing some of these. This is kind of some of what I'm gonna try and push. And then offensively, I've kind of done the same thing. I've looked at some different plays that in the play analysis it seemed to work pretty well against Memphis from the other opponents. And then also it's definitely plays that I've actually ran and have had some success with them on a lot of these. So I'll be not only using these, but I'll be picking and choosing and kind of looking to take advantage of some of these when I can, and see which ones may or may not be working. Based on that, I'm kind of looking at a lot of stuff that does seem to be successful against them. It's definitely on the inside. However, though, there's been some success against them, some consistent success in the spread formation going outside. A couple inside ones, but they've had some outside ones. I've not ran many jet sweeps this year at all. I think maybe I've ran maybe 4 the entire year. I just don't run my receivers. But I will say that getting the jet sweep left and right out of the spread formation has worked pretty well against Memphis. As far as it's not anything big, but there's just been consistently ran against them several times, and getting 4 or 5 yard average. I mean, heck, I'll take 4 or 5 yards every play, right? So if I can get a couple of those in there and get 4 or 5 yards, in certain situations when I need them. And they're pretty consistent too. So the standard deviation on those is really, really, really low. So it looks like it's just really consistent on the averages that kind of hit on those. So I'm gonna try a couple of those, I think, this game. And kind of see what works too. And I don't really run a lot of wishbone either, but there's been some wishbone that's worked pretty well. Some of these run plays, but particularly this one pass play out of the wishbone, I'm gonna try and sneak in there maybe at some point to see kind of how that works. But that's kind of where we are there. And tight end rolls, I'm gonna stay mixed. My quarterback tuck and run, I'm gonna set to rare because with Ferguson, if I'm running RPO with Arlen, it's going to be a specific design running quarterback run play. He's not going to really, well, he may be passing out of it depending on RPO, but it's going to be probably something that's going to be probably quick hit out or something like that. So from the passing side of it with Ferguson in the game, he's got like a run rating of 41. He doesn't really run, so I'm not gonna tuck and run. I've kind of had this set high, when Arlen's been there to do often. But even with that done early in the season against Tennessee, he was tucking and running, and he did it a couple other earlier games. He was tucking and running, but the last few games he wasn't even tucking and running much either. I mean, he took some sacks and didn't pull down on situations with his 90 speed and tuck and run like I thought he should. But I just feel maybe a little safe to just to try and get Ferguson to start on this one. On the defensive side, I kind of tossing back and forth, going aggressive on this. I'm not going to go aggressive because they run outside a lot, and I think I'm just going to stay balanced on this. Focus is going to remain balanced. I really feel like they're going to hit me more on the run, but I felt like that with a lot of opponents, and they do come out and throw. But I'm just going to do a mixed primary coverage for that. Defensive line roll, I'm going to try and do run support, and I'm going to have my linebackers kind of mixed. Hannaford's going to keep the radio. And I haven't targeted any players really on any of the teams that I've played. I guess games that I've played up to this point, I've not really put any focus on a targeted player. This will be the first game that I'm actually targeting somebody. And I'm going to target their running back, Keenan Bratcher. He's actually he runs a lot. He's had 338 attempts. He ran for pushing 1,300 yards too. Catches some out of the backfield. He's only had 8 receptions, but 3 of them have been touchdowns. So they use him. It looks like they use him a lot in the red zone down there. But I'm going to focus on him. And I've prepared basically against them. They tend to look like they run outside a lot with him. So I'm trying to prepare outside running in some of these defenses that I kind of have. I'm going to try and kind of keep some of these spies and stuff like that, and see if I can kind of contain the outside a little bit. I've struggled with that heartily this year. Pretty bad in several games. Houston ate me up outside. Troy ate me up outside. I've had several teams that's just blistered me outside pretty good, especially when they've got good speed. And Bratcher's one of them. I think his speed's in the 90s. So, they could come out and decoy him and come hit me with something completely different and light me up. But I just feel like that's probably the way to go, is to just try and focus on him and kind of go through that. I did go through, real quick before we jump into the game, I did go through back into my recruiting, and I did add a few more guys from where I left off on the last episode. I've got like 27 targets in here now, and I've just got some, and my line of thinking on this is I did go through and I ended up cutting a defensive end off of my roster and a defensive tackle, because I had these 2 guys out here, this John Tavis Cooper and Blake Pargo, 2 guys that I've been recruiting for a while. I've spent some money on them, and I really, really like both of them. I know Curlin Oliver committed, and I was only pushing to get one defensive end, but the one that I cut basically was just not going to be anything that really ever saw the field. I think he was like a 59 overall. He had 50 speed, a low strength, and the same way with the defensive tackle I cut. I'm going to try and do that and see what happens. So what I did, in cutting that defensive end and that defensive tackle, I went ahead and jumped in and made these two offers. So I made the offer to John Tavis Cooper, who looks really solid. I mean, he's just straight B's all the way down the board. Average work ethic, not really much of a leader, but really could be a really solid player. So if I really have to beef up my dang defensive line. I've got those new two committed tackles already, and Lucero and who was my other tackle that I got? Who was the other? Sheridan. That's right, Sheridan. Lucero and Sheridan are too solid on the inside. I've got Oliver on the outside already, so I think just based off what I'm getting there, and then if I can come through and get Cooper and Pargo, I think that'll definitely be a step up from what I've had this year. I think they'll give them, some of the guys, a run for the money, and I'll be able to rotate them in and out. And I think I'll be a much better unit up front going into next season with those. Some other guys that I kind of thrown in here, I went back through and I'm kind of in the same situation on linebackers, and like I said, I really don't like cutting guys. And I know you end up taking a hit. I haven't seen, just on those other two cuts, I haven't really progressed a week either, so I really just cut those and offered these other two scholarships. So there's not been anything tangible that I've really noticed that's been any kind of negative impact to this point right now. But I'm definitely going to watch for that, especially after I progress into the next week or two. But I really have two linebackers that I really would like to. I really have four, but I'm not going to do that. But I really want to basically probably cut one or two of these guys too, and just try and get some of this. The linebacker position really kind of scares me a little bit. I've only got one graduating this year, and I have got to commit at the linebacker position already, so it's going to put me back to the 10. But I'm going to have 3 seniors next year, and just a whole slew of just really weak, low-rated linebackers remaining. And so this position really scares me going into the 2025 next season, 2026 season. Kind of after that, I'm gonna have to recruit heavy linebacker next year. But if I can ultimately maybe get rid of Webster. I mean, he's a 63 overall, but he's only a 45 strength. He's 44 intelligence. He's 56 speed. And so it would be between him and Isabel, I guess, probably one of the two, or maybe both. I don't know. But with that and doing that, that's kind of where I went back and I've looked at targeting. There's really not a lot out there. Well, there's some, but we've had so many commits now that's kind of taken shape. But I did go out and find some linebackers, and I kind of threw these guys out here. And some of these guys are really kind of even in these 2-stars. So, that's the thing about it. I talk about these stars a lot and kind of these ratings. It matters in your recruiting class, I guess, just from a number standpoint. The higher ranking they are, I guess maybe more points you get for them, and it shows a better recruiting class. But that doesn't mean anything, because it's not, if it doesn't translate to the field, once you get them in there and you start playing them, you could have a 2,300 ranking guy that just beats the snot out of a 1,000 ranked guy. It happens all the time. So you can really find these diamonds in the rough down here a little bit lower too. And I guess the biggest thing is just don't be scared to take a chance on them, I guess, because some of these guys look pretty dang decent. Like, for example, take this guy here. He's ranked 2495. He's a 2-star. And he doesn't look great, but he doesn't look really that bad either. Of course, he's local Alabama. So, but there's one of these down here. It might be Cadron Woodley or Roland Horace. Yeah, for example, this guy doesn't really have great strength. But again, like I said, being a 50 prestige team like UAB, I don't think you're always going to get rarely are you going to get like straight Bs like on that John Tavis Cooper or something like that. You'll find those periodically every now and then, but I think a lot of times you're going to have to live with all these Bs and then a D somewhere. It's just kind of the nature of the beast with kind of what you're going to be able to get. This guy's kind of out of the region a little bit. He's Turner High School in Kansas City, Kansas, but he's not too bad. I mean, I would again, he's got to be better than one of the other two I'm looking at cutting. I mean, honestly, and they're freshmen, going to be sophomores next year. This guy would come in as a freshman, hands down, probably rated a hell of a lot better than what they are. So taking him, this rolling horse, I think I like as well. He's not too bad. This Mardontes Curtis is pretty good too. So he's straight B's all the way down till you get to his hands. And I'm okay with that, I think, ultimately. So, he might be something else that I would look at pretty heavily too. Michael Leonard is another one. A tackling, A minus tackling, B plus agility, B strength, B hands. So he's pretty solid, and he's local. He's at Moore, Alabama. And no offers. None of these guys have offers either. Lamaris Manley, he's a stretch. I mean, he's distance wise at least anyway, but he's another one. And quite honestly, I think probably Leonard and Curtis are probably the two best looking ones there. Going with it now, if I could get Leonard and Curtis and cut the other two, that's something I'm going to look at pretty heavily. But also, keep in mind, getting to the end of the year, I don't know who, if anybody, I may not have anybody transfer. It's highly unlikely that I won't have a couple players transfer out. But when they do, that's just going to open the door for me to go in the portal and kind of sign something back or look to get something back too. So I kind of went back in and I've looked at some more receivers. I've added this Gerard Jefferson, I think, is a 2-star. I added him back in because honestly I was looking at this Ferris as being maybe the best looking one that I have really here, but he's got that D run blocking. I found this guy, and it's one that I kind of want to keep an eye on too. But he's straight B's all the way down. Pass blocking is a D plus. I don't really care about that from a receiver. But his run blocking C minus, so it's a little bit better than Ferris. And then he's B plus speed and B plus strength, and he's 6'1", so he's not like a really tall guy. Like I'd like to get like 6'4", 6'5" guys, and I think Ferris is probably he's like a 6'3". But yeah, so either one of these two, I've still got an offer. The one offer that I've got left, it needs to be a receiver. And I think after this week, I'm going to probably either decide on probably making that offer to either Ferris or Jefferson. I know their ranking is like in the 2000s, and I've got these other guys up here, but they both of those guys I think look better than the other three. The only one that Kendrell Riley, he's a big 6'5" guy, 6'5" receiver, B plus speed, B run blocking. He might be one I look at pretty heavily too, so I'll just have to make a decision on one of those. Really need another one, but I don't know what we'll end up doing there, but just gonna have to kind of play it through. And then I think I added a couple more tight ends in here just to kind of get some looks. I've got still got those two offers out there. I've got that offer to Gabriel and Milner. See what's going to happen there. But I've also added back in. So this Jamon Roper's got an offer out there by Toledo right now. I don't know that I could jump in and probably do anything there, just depending on what kind of happens with Gabriel and Milner. If one of them kind of go elsewhere, or I drop out of favor on one of those two guys. I kind of had this guy, but he got D minus hands though, so I'm just but great run blocking. But he's also already got an offer out there by Toledo, but it's not a top school for him. It's basically the only offer he has. So nobody's really hit that big magic 50% mark that's really got his attention yet. So even Toledo having offered to him doesn't have his attention yet. So, but I'm going to go ahead and interview and kind of see where we kind of stand and what he likes there, to see if I can maybe increase some talking points to get more interest there. But that's kind of the recruiting piece I wanted to show. So now we're kind of down to the nitty gritty. Last game of the season. So this is going to finish my season out. I'm 4-7. This is my rival. I'd love to find a way to pull off a win here, but they're a 21.5 point favorite. They're missing a couple guys. I think that, offensive line and interior defensive linemen. But they're pretty decent. They're a pretty decent team, and it's going to be interesting. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this game. I was going to look at the schedule and kind of see where they went. So they lost to Tennessee as well. They played them very tough. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost at Tulane, and then they lost at Central Florida. And Central Florida is kind of they've got it locked up on the championship game. So I don't think Memphis has a shot of going to the Conference USA championship game. It looks like that's going to be between Central Florida and probably Tulane. But this, they're sitting a loss would 7-5. They're still a bowl team. A win would be 8-4. Would probably be a much better bowl for them. So they definitely, I'm sure they want to win. But I'd really like to have this game, especially close my season out. The way I've kind of played these last couple games have been pretty strong. Of course, they've been pretty weak opponents too. But my 4 wins, man, I tell you, I've just been lights out defensively on the 4 wins. My defense has just not even showed up on some of my losses. So to me, this is a game that's going to be much like, I think they're very comparable to Central Florida. And keeping in mind, I had Central Florida, I had them 21-10 at halftime, and just couldn't do squat the second half. So I don't think they're as good as Houston, but I think they're going to be pretty comparable to Central Florida. It's just outside running just eats my butt up, man. I've just struggled mightily on outside running teams getting to the outside and just having great success running against me. So it's going to be kind of one of those games I've just got to try and figure out how to stop that. But so with that said, some of the top 25 games, I don't know that we really have. We went through the conferences and everything, and so many of them are already kind of settled. There's a couple of them out there that are playing for keeps, like this West Virginia Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh finds a way to beat West Virginia, they'll go to the Big East championship game, but West Virginia is able to pull off and hold it. They'll go. They're 16-point favorites. You kind of got that one. That kind of matters. There's Arkansas, LSU. Top 20 teams, but I don't think it's really playing for anything that's going to affect the SEC championship or anything as well either. Then you don't really have anything else. And this Alabama-Auburn's another one, though. Alabama's 24-point favorites, but if Auburn could find a way to win as a 7-5 team, they would go to the SEC championship over Alabama. That would be hilarious. But Alabama's 10-1, 24-point favorites at home, so I don't know how realistic that really is. So that said, I think ultimately we're ready to kind of kick this thing off, and I think what I'll do, again, 21-point underdogs. It's gonna be funky. I'll jump back in. I think I'm 25 minutes into this episode, so I'll jump back in. If something's interesting or whatnot, or at least maybe jump in at halftime and kind of give a halftime update or something. But I'll go ahead and jump out and see you guys back here in a few. Well, not a good start, I guess. Actually, Memphis won the toss and chose to defer, so they kicked off to me. I got the ball, had a decent return, 33 yards. So I started on the 33-yard line. I actually ran a counter left from the pro set. First play got about 5 yards, and then I decided to try and run one of those jet sweep right out of the spread formation. I think I got 1 yard from McCants, so it kind of set me up on this 3rd and 3, and ended up running the 2 tight end. I ran a off tackle with Ware, who's my 3rd down back, Picks up the first yard, gets 4 yards, fumbles, and we lose the ball. That's actually his first fumble of the season. So we're giving them the short field. They got the ball on the 43. And that's not going to be good. So let's see what we can do here. It looks like they're coming out in the shotgun 4 wide receiver. So I'm going to go 3-3-5. Let's go run. And I'm going to go 3-3-5 soft. And they're throwing first down. All day to throw. All day. God dang. Come on, please be on them. Face mask. God almighty. As long as he had to throw, I was sure hoping that was a holding call. Well, hell. A minute and a half into this game and they're already about to score. What are they, on the 5? That sucks. Shotgun. Alright, let's see what we got here. Good incompletion there. Alright, they're back in their spread now. I think this is going to be, I think this may be a run. It's going to be a run. All wide open. Jesus. What do they call it? Oh, pitch left. That's Bratcher, number 13. Alright, well. That's a quick 7-0 right there. Alright, we got to buckle down here. 39 degrees in Memphis, Tennessee. And 10-mile-an-hour wind, and it is raining. Huh, okay. All right. Well, I am going to probably pause back out and jump back in here in a few. All right. Jumping back in here. So, yeah, I was kind of set up in a 3rd and 15 and ended up getting a 21-yard pass to McCants. Got the first down. This last play, I fumbled again, but got it back. And this sets me up on a 4th and inches, and I'm on their side of the field. I'm definitely going for this one. So, alrighty, we're gonna go goal line short. We're gonna go run inside, and I'm doing my 2 tight end. Dive left. It's bread and butter for Lemansky Ware right here. So let's see if we can continue the magic. I think. First down. Ooh, barely got it. Glad it wasn't 4th and 1. He wouldn't have had it. 4th and inches. Looked like he just made it. Okay. Alright. I'm going to go RPO now. I've actually had Arland in a couple plays already. One was just on the RPO package, doing a run play, and then I actually had him in the RPO package again, where I actually tried to run him outside, and he got like, I thought he got a yard. He didn't get a yard. He has 1 attempt, 0 yards, so he didn't get anything on that either. This one here, we're going to go with a RPO play, and I'm doing this. Is it read bubble or zone bubble? Zone bubble. Let's see what happens here. All right. 5 yards. I'll take that every time. Every time. Let's try and get look at something here. Definitely want to try and get sprint left, running back sprint left. Let's get Bedford, see if I can get him outside here. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful 12-yard gain. So I am down to the 31 now. Let's not get fancy here. Let's not get fancy. Let's go RPO. Let's do some run option here. What am I pro set? Run option. Alright. Get back outside. Formation. Dang it. Alright, 3rd and 7. What can I get here? I don't want the slants. Dang it. No. Damn it. All right, 28, so that's a 45-yard field goal. 45-yard field goal. I chewed up a little bit of time on that one, so it was about a 5-minute drive. And it's good. Got us on the board. All right. Alrighty. I will pause out and jump back in shortly. Wow. Not really sure what's happening here, man. I had a beautiful drive all the way down to the end of the quarter here. 25 seconds left. Had me a first and 10, or actually it was a second down, I think. Threw it out there. Completes it to Bates, and he fumbles, and they recovered on the 2-yard line. So that is 3 fumbles, 2 of them that I've lost already, and it's the first quarter. Again, it's 39 degrees and rainy, so it's raining, but they haven't fumbled. I have 3 times. So all right, so they got it on the 2. Let's see if I can. So guys going in and take the lead too. That's unfortunate. Well, back in a few. Holy smokes, man. So they got the ball down there on the 2. I held them, made them punt. He had a short punt, 33 yards, only carried it up to about the 37-yard line. I'm going back down, driving again, chewing some clock, running the ball well, hit a couple passes, doing pretty good. And now Bedford's joined the fumble crew. So I just had another fumble. So that's my 4th fumble, 3rd one lost, turnover. And I'm owning these guys right now. It is crazy. I mean, outside of giving them that one down there on the other side, I mean, look at this. Look at this. 153 to 57. 8 of 11. Bratcher, 4 carries, 6 yards. Sorry, I've had 5 fumbles. 5 fumbles. And lost 3 of them. Time of possession's 12 minutes to 5 minutes. And I can't get out of my damn way. I just keep giving it back to them. This is crazy. Well, let's step out and step back in. See you in a few. I tell you what, I really don't know what the hell's going on here. But I just had another freaking fumble. I have never seen anything like this crap in my life. I mean, good God almighty. And it's not happening to them, but it's just happening to me. 6 fumbles, 4 of them lost. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Don't know what to do. I mean, other than that, I mean, hell, 180 yards to 100. Time of possession is 14 to 9. Penalties have been pretty much non-existent. Running the ball, I mean, God, I've got 107 yards. They've got 24. And I've given 4 turnovers. And it's a 7-3 game. I just don't know how long my defense can keep this shit up. And, oh, man, unbelievable. I got to get some turnovers. I need some of these things back. Oh, Lord, I give them the short field. They're on the 35-yard line. Oh, man. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? They're in a spread. God almighty. Keep my pass package in there. It seems my run package isn't doing well. I've had success on my pass package on shutting down the run to this point. I mean, it's been pretty good. Golly, man, what the heck? Oh, it's killing me. 4 turnovers, 4 fumbles. They're all fumbles. Fumbled 6 times. I don't understand because, I mean, heck, I mean, what are their balls dry and mine's wet? You know, are they throwing? Fire my ball boy. I don't know what else to do. They got dry balls and mine apparently are have oil on them. I don't know. Oh Lord, let's see. Shotgun formation. Let's go zone on this one. I'm gonna go zone nickel. God, I just don't know how long I could keep holding these guys off. Oh, there's an outside run for... Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I wasn't set up for that. 4 yards, though, so it's 3rd and 2. Shotgun. Go with my run package. Go with a blitz here. Not too tight. I don't want tight. I want wide. Skyfall. Get him. Oh! Stuffed Bratcher. Amarakawa. There you go, buddy. All right. 4th and 4 on the 29, so they're going for a field goal. Well, that's damage control. Good God. How do I how can I hold on to the ball? Miss it. No good. Oh, that's damage control. Man, 6 fumbles, 4 turnovers. Double the time of possession, double the yards, and it's still a 7-3 game. And I get the ball on the 36. Golly, what do I do? Thing about it is, it's like hell. My damn receivers are fumbling. My quarterback's fumbling. My freaking damn running backs are fumbling. Bedford's had 2. Ware's had 1. Bates has had 1. I don't know who's had the other 2. I think Ferguson's had 1. Man, all right. Let's go with a run package, but I'm going to go pass here, and I'm going to go. Come on, Ferguson. Come on, Ferguson. Hit him. Oh, damn it. What is Ferguson? 7 of 11. It's not done bad. Come on now. I got to get something here. Shit. Ooh, 3rd and 10. All right. God, that's a crappy freaking series. Complete crap series. Damn dog crap series. Get this punt down, and I'll pause again and jump back in probably at halftime. We'll do a halftime review. We're about 42 minutes into the. Ooh, nice punt. Nice punt. 55 and no return. All right, so there's 3:54 left, and they're on the 9. So I'll pause out and jump back in. Maybe, I guess, probably with a halftime review. I don't, I don't know how much more of this I could take. Oh my God! So closing out this half, they ended up fumbling down in around their 10-yard line. Of course, they recover it back. Ended up punting down. Couldn't do anything with it. End up having to punt, and what happens? I get my punt blocked. And now they have a 1st and 10 on the short field, UAB 27 again. And it's still a 7-3 game. This is mind racking. I can't get a break. I can't believe it's still a 7-3 game though. All right, let's get this thing to halftime. All right, finally made it to halftime, and that whole debacle with the block punt, they were able to get it down. Good thing was, I mean, they got it down to the 1-yard line, and they had a 1st and goal. They were running out of time, but I ended up blitzing down there, and Zachary Poole ended up getting an 11-yard loss, sack. So I guess that set them back to about the 12-yard line, and they ended up having to go for a field goal. Got their field goal, made it 10-3. But I tell you what, I've had 4 turnovers to their none, and I'm lucky as crap to still be within a touchdown to tie the game. It should be. It's funny that last game. I think we played La Tech. And I think I had 4 turnovers in that game. My damn offense just kept putting my defense in just terrible situations. And they kept bailing them out. And it's that same feel in this game here, to where my offense is just giving it to them on a freaking silver platter, but the defense is just standing up and doing pretty good. I mean, honestly, I tell you what, it surprises me that again they've only had 13 minutes time of possession, they've had 13 pass plays and 16 rush plays. So they've had 29 plays, and I've had 40. But the interesting thing is, I mean, Bratcher has ran the ball 336 times, I think, on the season in like 11 games. So he's averaging carrying the ball like 33 attempts a game. He's only touched it 9 times this game, but he's only got 25 yards too. I mean, for a guy that's got 336 attempts and 1,300 yards on the season, that's not too bad. I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. Third down conversions. Right now, I'm 2 of 6. They're 1 of 6. I did convert that 4th and inches, so I'm 1 for 1 on that. Penalties. I've got hit with a couple, and of course they're not at the best time, but it's not really killed me yard wise. The problem is that the penalties are coming in the red zone, and they're not getting a lot of yards out of them. But I've had 4 penalties. I think that Jenkins that was one that was half the distance of the goal. It was for like 8 yards. Not really any missed tackles, pancakes. Olsen center's doing pretty good. Defensive wise, I've gotten 1 sack. Poole got that sack right there at the end, forced them into that field goal. I've not really hurried or I've got 2 hurries and 1 knockdown and 1 sack, so I'm not really getting to him at all. And I have blitzed. I've actually blitzed on several plays. They haven't really burned me on it. I think that they completed one decent pass on a blitz, but I've not really been burned. They've ran the ball on a couple blitzes, and I think I've had 1 or 2 TFLs on Bratcher on a couple of those. What are my TFLs? I've got 1, 2, 3 TFLs. 2 of those I think have come on blitz plays. On running plays, I call them behind the line. But they've gotten to me 3 times. Gotten a little bit of pressure on Ferguson. Definitely. Dan Bernard's just killing me, man. He's forced 3 of those fumbles. He's just knocking socks off of everybody. 4 tackles and 3. He's forced 3 fumbles. Guys, damn, what does he think? He's Ronnie Lott? Jeez. But yeah, interesting. Who blocked that punt? Dan Long blocked it. And punting wise, I guess, we've only punted twice. They've only punted 4 times. It's just kind of been back and forth, receiving. Passing wise, I'm 8 of 14. Ferguson 7 of 13. Arlen's 1 for 1. Arlen threw on an RPO, but just low yards. I mean, I just don't get anything. I mean, I can call something long and Ferguson dumps it off. I mean, it's just nothing's. And I think a lot of that has to do with the pressure, maybe the pressure that's coming in or something. He's just checking down and just getting rid of it quicker. I'm just not getting anything on yard downfield. Bedford's not doing too bad. I mean, if I could just keep people from fumbling, I'll be fine. But McCants has been targeted 5 times, caught 3. Bates 3 times, caught 2. Stafford 2 times, caught both. Crawley's been. I've targeted the tight end. I've tried to get more involved there. He's got one of the catches, but Bedford's 82 yards at halftime. So I mean 15 attempts. So that's not too bad. Ware just used him in certain situations. Williams got a couple carries. Interesting thing. I called a running. It must have been a botched play. I don't know. It doesn't really say in the play-by-play, but I specifically remember calling. It was basically a simple pro set formation, running back off tackle play, and for whatever reason, the play-by-play showed Ferguson handing off to Ferguson, and Ferguson ran for 5 yards. I would never intentionally run Ferguson with 41 speed, but he got 5 yards off of that. So only thing I could think of is just a botched play. The running back wasn't where he was supposed to be. They bumped into each other, whatever. Ferguson held it, kept it, ran it, got 5 yards. But I thought that was interesting. It was very specifically a pro set running back off tackle. Ferguson handed off to Ferguson. But it doesn't say botch play or anything like that. That's the only thing I could sit there and figure is sometimes I guess that happens. But I'll chalk it up for that. But very, very minimal scoring. So, they got their touchdown first, and that was, of course, on the turnover that I gave them a short field on. And, I've driven the ball down the length of the field a couple times, and I've gotten in the red zone a couple times, and I've had a couple turnovers in the red zone that I've given the ball back to them. But I have managed that one 45-yard field goal, and, of course, I gave them that, again, on a block punt. Basically another turnover. I count that as a block punt as a turnover. It might as well be. Gave them the short field again. They got the field goal out of that. But God, I mean, for the times that I've been in the red zone on their side, I mean, that's a couple touchdowns. I mean, and I've given them all 10 of their points off of my turnovers, giving them the short field. I mean, hell, I ought to be winning this damn game 17-0 halftime. But it ain't that way. That's football. God almighty, they fumbled one time and didn't lose it. No picks. Neither one of us, knock on wood, have had any picks, but 6 fumbles, 4 of them lost in the first half. That's crazy. But we're going to get the second half started. I'm not going to really, in my mind, I'm not really adjusting down to anything. I think I just keep trying to do what I'm doing defensively. Offensively, I've got to figure out. I've got to probably concentrate trying to run more. I've had several first downs that I've tried to catch them off guard and pass. It just doesn't seem to be working. I got to get myself in third and short. I can't put myself in these third and long. So I got to run on first down. That's probably the only main differences in focus that I'm going to do in the second half is just trying to run on first down and get some yards. Do that, put myself in better situations on third down, and just keep doing what I'm doing on defense. I don't know that I can do anything different. I don't know that they can do anything better. I mean, they've basically kept us in this damn game. The defense has, which is kind of surprising, especially as really as good as Memphis is, but we'll see. I'll pause out and jump back in when something gets interesting. All right. Starting the fourth quarter. They got a field goal. We got a field goal. I had a pretty decent drive. Ended up getting down to around the 13-yard line and just couldn't keep things going. But actually ran really, really well on that drive. I think we started on our own 25, and I think I got 50 yards, got all the way down to around their 25 before I even had to pass or even attempted to pass, and wasn't very successful pass. And just our passing game is just freaking awful. Ferguson 7-15 for 69 yards. It's just not good. Bedford's hit over the dang 100-yard mark again, so he's going to hit his 1,200 yards. He's already at his 1,200 yards. I think he's passed up 1,200 now. They gave me a heavy dose of Bratcher on the drive that they had where they went down on their field goal. They ended up doing, I think they got to around the 25 and ended up kicking the field goal, but they gave me a big old heavy dose of Bratcher. So if you notice, I think, earlier, that drive, he must have run the ball 7-8 times, but he wasn't very successful. I mean, 7-8 times, to say not successful, but he ran it 7-8 times, probably got 25 yards, close to 30 yards of that drive for them. But I'm doing pretty well against the pass there. So I mean, he's not doing a hell of a lot better than what Ferguson's doing. He's 10-17, 114. I've really only gotten to him once. I'm still blitzing him. I'm not blitzing him every down, but I'm trying to pick and choose. I really hadn't blitzed on first because I just really feel like they're running on first down. But Amara was actually looking like he's working into a really decent game. He's had a couple stops here, especially in the third quarter, that were really needed. So that's good. Knock on wood, third quarter I didn't have any freaking them fumbles. Nothing lost or turned over. Okay, here we go. So Bedford's had 2 fumbles, Bates had 2, Ferguson had 1, and Ware had 1. That's right. So I had that right. Bratcher's had the 1, and they recovered it. So time of possession. So what a dang change that's been, man. That first quarter I kind of really owned the time of possession in the first quarter, and even up to halftime I had them on halftime. They owned the third quarter. I mean, it was what were we like God, what were we at halftime? 17 to 13 or something like that. So I mean, they literally really owned the third quarter time of possession wise. They had a couple drives they had. I had that long drive where they got the field goal, and that was all runs. That was really a time chewing drive. But they're starting to really wear me down a little bit on my defense. I think, and actually it's funny because I was having to go back in and look on my defense and my lineups and stuff, and look at my guys' energies levels, because my defensive line started rotating in and out heavily on that drive. Because I think there was 2 or 3 guys got winded. I pretty much had almost the second string kind of coming in and out on that drive pretty heavily. But that's where we ended up getting Boggs, who really hadn't seen much time, but he came in, got a tackle. Sadler came in. He was coming in relief. So several of these guys kind of was popping in there on that one drive. So I was glad to be able to get that next drive coming back to them, and chewing up a lot, sometime at least, there to kind of get it back. So kind of give them a little bit of a rest at least anyway. But we're into the fourth quarter. 15 minutes to go. It's still a 1-possession game, 13-6. I mean, gosh, something great can happen if I can get a score or something like that. It could be a tie ball game. It's still definitely within reach. Defense has played really exceptionally well. I mean, better than I could have really hoped for. I mean, the 3 of 11 on third down conversions. They've only got 205 yards going into the fourth quarter. Leading rusher pretty much in the nation, top guy. They hadn't even hit 100 yards yet rushing, and he's got 57. Couldn't ask for in the turnovers I've given them in the short fields. Really couldn't ask for it to be any better. It could be a hell of a lot worse than it is right now. But we'll kick this thing in the fourth quarter and try and close this one out, do a review on the game kind of at the end, look at the stats, and progress into our recruiting in the week. Look at some of our scores and some of the other rivals games that are out there. Kind of get ready. I mean, we'll go into the Army-Navy game next week, that's the only game on week 15, which I really like doing that schedule that way. It's just very, very realistic to real life, but that's the only game that's going to be next week. So it's basically a bye week for me. It's just going to be a recruiting week. But yeah, so we'll close this game out and kind of look at those and kind of look at our standings, because I think from there we can kind of really tell. I think everything should be. I don't know that Army or Navy, either one, are competing in the American for a conference championship game. I'm not sure. But we'll look at it and kind of see what the conference championships matches are going to look like, because we won't know, or they won't really have them posted until I complete that week 15 with that Army-Navy game. But I'll jump back in here in a few. All right, game is over, and we lost 23-6. They outscored us 10-0 in the fourth quarter. we just ran out of gas. I mean, they had some really long sustained. They killed us time of possession second half. They just had some long sustained drives. The way my defense bailed us out in the first half, and then having to kind of sit and eat up those kind of minutes on the field in the second half, it was just really, really ugly. You know, it's amazing to me because it was pretty even, I guess. Maybe at halftime it was pretty close to what it was. I'd have to go back and look, but it seemed like it was around pretty even, 15-15, which if that's the case, that means they had 21, 22 minutes of the second half to where we only had 8, and we just couldn't do shit passing. I mean, we were 9 of 24 overall. You know, I brought in Schuler at the very end just to mix it up, and last game of the season, see what you got. Just looked like crap. 0-3. That guy sucks. So he's not even in the freaking mix anymore. So I've got Mark Penn coming in, 4-star recruit, and I still have Arlen and Ferguson. And as it sits right now, Ferguson's 1, Arlen's 2, Schuler's 3, and Farrell, I guess hindsight, I probably should have played Farrell. Anyway, Bedford had over 100. He had 108 yards, I think, at halftime or something like that. So again, we didn't have the ball in the second half, hardly any at all. But he ends up with 133. Looking at the targets on the receivers, we still just not targeting. I'm just not getting the tight ends in this offense worth of crap. But I'm not getting anybody, really, any of my receivers, really, to a degree. But Bratcher held him under 100 yards. I mean, he ended up with 90. I think he had 26 at halftime, so he ended up. I think he only had something like 13 carries, or 11 carries or something like that. So I got a big dose of Bratcher in the second half, and that was just the chewing of the clock. But classic form. I mean, he 3.1 average. I mean, he's carried the ball 400 freaking times this year. But Wexton, man, I tell you what. At one point, I remember comparing Wexton to Ferguson. I said, oh, yeah, they're pretty comparable. No one's doing really better than the other one. And then I look at how Ferguson ends 8 of 20 with 77 yards, and I look at Wexton, how he ended. Everything happened in the second half for him, but it's 15 of 23 for 191 yards. Not even freaking close now. Yeah, Wexton had a much better day. Anyway, so we are 4-8. And Memphis is 8-4. They're going to be going to a pretty decent bowl game, and I'm going to be watching. But 4 turnovers to none. Penalties, 6-3. I mean, I think I had 4 or 5 in the first half, so it was a pretty clean second half. But I ended up with 173 yards on the ground. Only 81 passing. I've got to get a quarterback. I've got to get somebody in here that can do something. I'm so one-dimensional, and it's just like I can weather the storm in the first half, and the second half I'll just get this crap beat out of me. But it is what it is. So defensively, man, Amarakawa, he ended up with 9 tackles. McCray had 8. Brooks had 7. Only ended up. I blitzed quite a bit, man. I just couldn't get anything through. I did hurry him. I had him a couple hurries there, but it looks like I had 3 hurries and a couple knockdowns, but only ended up with 1 sack. I think they ended up having 3 on us. Yeah, they had 3. But defensively, they did pretty good. All in all, though, I mean, that's, golly, as bad as that first half was with all the fumbling and the opportunities I had, I really could have gone into halftime 17-0. You know, they got their 10 points off of stupid crap that I did. Then I end up getting in the red zone inside the 10 really both times, ready to punch it in, and had turnovers. I mean, it truly could have been a 17-0 half. But, I mean, that's football. And we lose. So let's, I'm a little over an hour into this one, so I guess we can kind of, this is a fun week here. So we actually have all of these rivalry games. Let's look at some of the good ones. So yeah, let's send North Carolina Duke. So North Carolina is 11-0, number one in the country. That's a shock. But they're an 18.5 point favorite on Duke, and they end up, what, 4 overtimes? Damn. They end up winning though. They're 12-0. 12-0. Now this game here, let's do Washington State. Kind of really a irrelevant game, doesn't really matter. Washington State wins. I love rivalry week, man. It's crap happens. It's so freaking bizarre. 9-2 Texas against 4-7 Texas A&M. Texas is the big 21.5 point favorite. And A&M wins. It's like, it's a rivalry. It's just bizarre. UCLA and Cal. UCLA handles that one. Utah and Colorado. That's not really too much of one, but Ohio State and Michigan. Let's see. Ohio State's 6 point favorite on the road, and Ohio State's 9-2, 5 in the country. Michigan's 7-4, and of course Michigan wins. I mean, this is so freaking bizarre. Watch Oregon State beat Oregon. Watch this. No, oh, freaking overtime. Insane. Temple will probably beat Rutgers. Nope. So, Rutgers going to be a top 10 team. Baylor, Stanford, that's not really a rivalry. Wisconsin, Minnesota. Let's do the Alabama, Auburn. So this one here is going to be, there's 2 of them. I want to do the, it was West Virginia and Pitt, wasn't it? West Virginia and Pitt. Let's do the Big East. West Virginia and Pitt. This one has some implications to the, I think there's only 2 of them. I think it's this one and the SEC are really the only 2, and then I'll just probably go ahead and sim the rest of the week. Wow, and Pitt does beat them. Holy moly, okay. Alright, so it looks like Pitt might be going. And then this is the Iron Bowl. This is going to be, I'm going to laugh so hard if Auburn wins this game at Alabama. No, not really even close. Well, they didn't cover the spread, so okay. Georgia Tech, man. Georgia Tech's 1-10. That's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. Florida State. That looks like a fun one. Oh, damn! Florida State kicked the crap out of them. All right. Well, Clemson, South Carolina. That might be a fun one. South Carolina pulls it off. All right. Let's look at our Conference USA. Let's close out our games here and see where we stand. SMU wins big. Neither one's really bowl eligible. Got to get rid of some of these 5 and 7 teams though in the bowls. Neither one of these are really bowl eligible. You got both of these teams. Rice is 6-5. Houston 7-4. Houston's a 12.5 point favorite. Battle of the city limits there, and Houston pulls it off. South Florida can get bowl eligible if they can pull this one off, and they don't. Tulane, Louisiana Tech. Wow, Louisiana Tech beat Tulane. Good Lord, that makes me feel like crap. Miami and East Carolina. That should not even be really a game. It's not. Okay, let's go ahead and sim out week 14. And then we're going to look at, I guess we'll look at the standings real quick and then jump into, this is an hour and 10 minutes. So yeah, we'll look at the standings real quick and then we'll jump in and see what our recruiting stuff had, if we actually had anything good happen in our recruiting. But what happened here? Where did everything else go? That's weird. I don't have any information out here on the side. And this is the new patch, so this might be something we might need to pass on. Well, what the frick? I've got, oh, this might have something to do with having upcoming games. Why would it not show your leaders and your recruits, even if there's no games? That's something that's weird. I don't know that I've really ever noticed that before, if that's truly what's happening. Army Navy's down here, so this has no implications on the American Athletic Conference Championship. It definitely looks like it's going to be between Western Kentucky and Florida Atlantic. The ACC is going to be Clemson and North Carolina. Big East will be between Rutgers and Pittsburgh because they got the tie break. So they end up pulling the upset off of West Virginia and sent them home. They're not, they could, well, I say they could still get in that large, but they probably won't because they're ranked 22. That's a shame. That's a 10-2 record. Big Ten will be Ohio State and Wisconsin. And Notre Dame can get in that large and probably will, as well as Penn State probably. Big 12 is going to be Oklahoma State and Baylor. And whoever wins that's probably going to the playoffs. I don't think there's going to be anybody else represented out of this conference in it. And then Central Florida and Houston out of this side. The MAC is going to be between Buffalo, who's pulled into the top 25, 10-2 record. Buffalo and Toledo, that's kind of expected. Mountain West will be between Boise State and San Diego State. Now, San Diego State needs to win. If they can win, that still probably leaves Boise State an outside shot to be in the playoffs. But the only way San Diego State can probably get in the playoffs is they're going to have to beat Boise State. Pac-12 is going to be between Oregon and Utah. But it still looks like UCLA, well, I say that. I mean, there's quite a few of these teams here that you only have 5 at-larges that can kind of make it. So the only way Georgia can get into it is probably winning. They're going to have to beat Alabama, and Alabama smoked them during the regular season, so that'll be interesting there. Auburn finished 6-6, but they were 6-3 in the conference. So they lost all 3 of their non-conference games. Who the hell did they play non-conference? No, oh, that's right. Oh, damn, they had a tough one. Oh, damn. So North Carolina and Texas beat them. Damn, UTSA beat them? That's not cool. The last one is the Sun Belt, and that's going to be between James Madison and North Texas. Alright, so let's jump in here. Player performances. See what they all are. And you give Brock Ferguson a damn A+ for effort. Are you 8 of 20, 77 yards? How the hell is that an A+ effort? Jesus. Well, I guess maybe effort was there. It's just production's a C. Yeah, that's garbage. So, hey, I guess he tried. All right, and then training. So here's the recruiting. So where do we stand on recruiting? Did we get anything or did we not? We'll close this thing out for this episode. And oh, damn, I got all of them. Well, not all of them. I got John Tavis Cooper, the defensive end. Man, that's the guy I wanted. I did not. Blake Pargo went to Missouri. Damn it, I didn't get him. I cut that DT and I gave him the scholarship offer, but he ended up choosing Missouri, which that's and Jamon Roper, that tight end, did go to Toledo. I lost Lennox Bernard, who somebody else I really liked a lot, and Kendrell Riley was the guy that I was tossing up, thinking maybe given I got to get a wide receiver. But damn, I got Milner and Gabriel. And I got Beeman and John Tavis Cooper, man. That should help out quite a bit. None of these other guys, that Wade Adachi was always pretty good. He ends up going to Louisville. I like this Londell McClay a lot too, but I just didn't need another corner. Man, that sucks. I lost Pargo. Shit. But that's okay. That's okay. I have 20 commits now with 2 scholarships left. I need to get I don't have to get a defensive tackle, I guess, but I need one. Let's sneak a peek and see what we got going on here. These are our targets. I don't really. No offers to anybody out there. I don't have another defensive tackle on my board. I may end up trying to go out there and get one of these linebackers now. I just need to look at my depth on my defensive tackles and kind of see where I stand there. I cut that guy, but he was never going to play. Let's take a look real quick. Just defensive tackle side. I mean, I've got. So Turner's gone, Pike's gone, but I've got Lucero and Sheridan coming in. Poole and Calhoun both are going to get a lot of playing time next year, but them along with Willings will all be seniors. Creel will get a lot of playing time. Sharper's probably not going to amount to too much, but I do have 2 coming in, so I've got 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't need another defensive tackle right now. I don't think. I mean, I'm going to have to recruit them heavily next year because I'm losing 3 more. I don't know. It'd be kind of good to have one to kind of get him in, but I definitely got to get another receiver though. I mean, I'm losing all of these top 4 guys, and I've only got 2 more coming in with what I have here. And Holyfield and Barkley will be okay, but they're not even going to be nearly anything to the level of McCants with what he's given me. I hate losing McCants. I wish I had him another year when I can get a quarterback in here, because I think he could have been really freaking something really good. I just didn't have squat to throw to him. I don't think it. Did I have anybody complete 50% of their passes? Well, Arlen did. That's surprising. Receiving wise, yeah, McCants still had 52 catches. I mean, he was targeted 102 times, but he still had 52 for 500. Nobody. I mean, look at these averages. That's just freaking. That's 22, but that was on 1 catch. 19, that was on 2 catches. Everybody else is like 10 and below. That's just nothing downfield. Just not able to stretch the field at all on anything passing. Insane. But all right, so that's a surprising. Damn, John Tavis Cooper, that is freaking awesome. I got him. So that's good. So now from that, let's look at our recruits one more time, the commits, because now I've got Oliver and Cooper both coming in. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Recruiting news. See where we stand on recruiting and where we might actually be sitting. Damn, I jumped up to 34th in the country in recruiting. Holy smokes. Holy crap. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. But it's awesome in the sense that it's just going off of what the recruits are and what their rankings are. That doesn't mean that will translate to the field, though. I mean, you still have to get the but you know, damn, you know, 50 prestige UAB is getting a 220, a 325, a 451, a 656, you know, 702, 703, a 733, 741. You know, if you think about it, I guess if you've got 130 teams, 132 teams, and you take, say, the first 1,000 recruits out of that, divide 132 by the 1,000, you're looking at probably about 8, right? So you look at probably, on average, every school would get 8 recruits in the top 1,000, but that's not really the case because your bottom end guys aren't going to get any of them probably in that, or relatively really close to it. And maybe the middle might get half of that, and then your top ones are going to get all of them, you know, kind of in that. But being a middle of the road 50 prestige team, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 in the top 1,000 as a middle of the road, where you'd expect to sit there and say, okay, maybe you'd get 4 or 5. So that's pretty damn good. I would say. I kind of wonder where that puts me in my conference now, as far as recruiting goes. I'm the top recruiting class in the Conference USA. Holy crap. Very sweet. Very sweet. But it's only going to matter if I can then end up getting these guys in here and improving my 4 and 8. I mean, golly, I think next year I gotta freaking be 8 and 4 next year. Got to be 8 and 4, at least 8 and 4. Get to a bowl game, and then by 2026, I need to be winning I need to be winning the conference, going to the conference championship, winning it, getting to the playoff. That's awesome though. 1 4-star and 19 3-stars. That's a hell of a damn recruiting class right there. I think it's far exceeding what I kind of thought that I might be getting. I was getting a little concerned there until we started getting some of these guys in later. But you know, as a 50 prestige though, you're not. I mean, you're not going to get many early. But I was kind of surprised. I think I had 8. I think the biggest jump was having 8 in that 1 week there a few weeks ago. But then again, you know, I had 8 and 3. Then I had, you know, 1 commit, and then we come back and we get like 4. So 4 is closing out. That only leaves me with 2. So that goes back to, and I've got to get a receiver. Definitely one of these has to be a receiver. And I want to see real quick out of the targets for my receiver. I lost the one guy. That Kendrell Riley is gone, but I still have okay. Oh, Gerard jump. Oh, his speed got better. His run blocking just sucks though, golly. But it's better than Ferris's. Man, I think I might have to offer this 2-star. 6'1", 186 out of Compton, California. Going back to Cali. B+ strength, B agility, B intelligence, A- speed, C- hands, D- run blocking. So I kind of had the generic talking points because I really didn't have information on him. But it looks like I got a hit on playing time, which that's a 49. and I got a hit on market size, which is bigger at 65. His loyalty is high, which I look at security and loyalty as being like organization. Winning is low. I could take that point away. He doesn't give two craps about that. He just wants to play. So that probably might translate back to the market size. That's kind of the bigger of the two there. Playing close to home doesn't really seem to matter too much either. So location, I say that, but I mean it's as high as playing time, and he's hitting on the playing time. So I think he's looking at, again though, I don't know that that's something I brought up too, because a lot of times where I've got 10 wide receivers, but I've got 4 graduating, so that means whatever I'm recruiting this year should look at my wide receiver class and see it's going to be halfway decimated because I got almost half of them going. But the weird thing about it is, though, is earlier in the season when I was recruiting the wide receivers, they were all saying, you're too stacked at your position. I don't know how much playing time I'll get, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, well, crap, I've got half of them leaving. So I don't know that it really truly takes into account looking at what's going there. But I think somebody responded back. I can't remember if it was AKH or Brooks specifically, but they said they would take a look at that to see if there was something to that. But I would sit there and say, looking at this though, if I get a hit on playing time and playing time's kind of low, that maybe he's, it's halfway there, but maybe he's looking at, okay, yeah, you got 4 guys leaving. I'm probably going to see the field, possibly, but prime example right here, your program definitely seemed interested. It just wasn't what he expected, and that's fine. He's looking for a school that could use him sooner. Well, I'm losing half of my damn receivers. The competition's there. I mean, if I've got 4 or 5 new receivers coming in, I mean, you have as good a chance as anybody else, right? So I don't understand why he would be saying he's looking for someone to use him sooner. He's got as good a shot coming in and playing at UAB as he probably does any damn where, especially no bigger schools. So I just I don't know that it looks at some of that stuff correctly, or if it's truly taking into account what may be leaving. So I guess we just gotta see if that might get addressed, if there is something there. I don't really know, but I think that this guy right here definitely is the guy that I may be looking to offer. It'll be my first 2-star. Everybody else I've got the 1 4-star and the 19 3-stars, but again, like I said, that only affects your recruiting class, because here's the thing: this guy here at 2405, he could be out playing damn freaking receivers that were 3-stars ranked 700. I mean, just based off what it is. I mean, for example, look at my roster here. So again, this is basically your standard template that kind of comes out, right? So it's not any, none of these guys are anybody I've recruited. This was just the team that was there. But I'm looking at Keaton Bedford, and I'm sitting there thinking, damn, this guy has been one of the top freaking running backs in the country. I would take him above anybody else that I've had just for what he's been able to do. He's only a 77 overall. Doesn't have great strength. Doesn't have outstanding agility. Average intelligence. Good speed though. Good speed. But look at what he's done. I mean, he has got 1,200 yards rushing on a 5.4 yard average per carry. Pretty freaking damn solid. And he was, again, this is standard. It's not something that's been recruited. This is my first recruiting class here, so this is standard template. But he is a 1401. And he's just a sophomore too. So he basically has performed pretty damn good. And he's performed as good as some of these guys. If you look at like some of these leaders, You can kind of go into like player stats. Let's look at some of the rushing here, because I know he's going to be in the mix here with a lot of guys. I mean, look. So he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is seventh in the country running, and the top two are quarterbacks. So he is the 5th top running back in the country rushing. And then you look at someone like Delroy Collins, right? 97 overall, 64 nationally ranked. He's right there with him. Averson Thomas is behind him. Well, he was 60. That's a 1-star. That's pretty damn awesome. But this LJ Castile ahead of him is like 167th, a 4-star. Keenan Bratcher is a 96 overall, 113, 4-star. So he's right up there with all of these guys. And Corey Floodman with Alabama, 204, 4-star, 96 overall. So all of these guys that actually have, like Julian Hayes, 93 overall, Keenan Bratcher, 96 overall, LJ Castile, 90 overall, Delroy Collins, 97, Bedford, 77. Not even in the 80s. He's a 77 overall. Now, this Avery Thompson from Charlotte is interesting. So he's a senior, and he's a 91 overall. But he climbed. He was a 1-star coming out. Again, this is template, so that take it for what it is. And then the national ranking 6602. You get that when it comes out, because I guess just based off of the overall number of players or something. But any ranking that you're ever going to have is never from truly playing a season and recruiting is never going to be more than like a 3960, like in this league, because all I ever have in a recruiting class is 3960. So if you take the last one, it's going to be a 3960 ranking. So that's really an anomaly, really, just based off of just the first season playing. But still, though, he was a 1-star, but he grew into a hell of a damn running back. He's 91 overall as a senior. And then this Ramon Judkins, 88 overall, Floodman, 96 overall, 93 overall. I mean, how far down do you have to go before you find another 77 overall like what my guy is, Bedford? Okay, Trayvon Long, 78. So another 1,000-yard rusher at JMU, and he's a 78. So you can't always go by that a lot of times too, and a lot of it has to do with what their rankings are, and kind of I guess how you play them in your offense too. But he's done pretty damn well. And then also too, it's like another looking at Ware, 700. I mean, he's a 79 overall, and then you look at all these other fullbacks, and then you get down to Ware, and he's a 73, and of course he got half the numbers that Ware's got. So I guess a lot of it really has to do with how you use them, But yeah, so that's great though. 4 more recruits. I've got 20 commits, 2 scholarships left. I got Cooper on the end, so I've now got 2 defensive tackles and 2 defensive ends that's going to come in and really, really help bolster the trenches there on the defensive side. That's going to be freaking great. I got my 2 tight ends. I didn't know if I'd get both of those. But I did, and they weren't my first choices. That was I was recruiting tight ends pretty damn heavily, and I think I recruited and offered 4 other guys that all went elsewhere before I finally got these 2 guys, and they're higher ranked guys, but if you look at them, I mean, damn, his strength fell off. That was a little bit worse, but I mean everything else though looks like. Damn, pass and run blocking's B's, hands are a B plus, speed's a B for a tight end. I like this guy. He's going to be good. So I'll take him, and then this Milner guy as well. Again, blocking is a B plus. Doesn't have hands, but I could have him in the run package. Maybe not a receiving tight end per se, but definitely smart. Won't be creating a lot of penalties or anything like that. He's good strength, definitely on the run package. This guy's on the run package, and Gabriel's going to be on the receiving package for sure. Work ethic of 98. Love that. Let's take a look and see some of these scouting personality ratings. Let's look at some of my work ethic. I really try and look, and that's something I look at pretty damn close. I'm a little disappointed in some of these guys. I'm really high on Sheridan. I'm really high on Judith, but their work ethic's not outstanding. And I tend to try and look at that a lot closer. But I've got some. I tell you what, Dan, Mark Penn. I don't know what I'm going to get out of this guy, but just having 100 work ethic and A plus arm, B strength, and then everything else is kind of average. But with that 100 work ethic, it really kind of makes me wonder. How could he be the guy to step in that finally starts giving me something I can work with at quarterback? He's above average potential too, so we'll see. We shall see. Leaders, I got a couple guys stepping in. Lucero, kicker, that's whatever. Stamps on the offensive line. Saunders looks like he's a pretty good leader. Sheridan's a good leader, but he low work ethic. But damn, really starting to really liking this recruiting class. Really excited to see what I can do with some of these guys next year and into the future. See how it kind of helps me. Definitely several areas I'm in desperate need of. But I'm also losing a lot. So I'm losing about the only thing that I have. I guess from a starter perspective, I guess if you really looked at your starters, and that's the funky thing. At least that's with what my current depth chart set at least right now. Of all the starters I got on the field, I'm losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's look on each side. I'm losing 8 starters on offense. 8, and my offense has not been. Well, I mean, the running game has been great, but I'm losing 8 starters on offense, and I'm losing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starters on defense. I'm losing 15 starters. Defense has not been great. Defense has picked up. Defense has definitely gotten better at the end of the year. I tell you what, just these last 3 games of the season, and really even Tulane. I mean, Tulane was a good game. The last really awful offensive game that I had was Houston. After that Houston game, coming back home and playing Tulane, Middle Tennessee, and Louisiana Tech, and then going on the road against Memphis, these last 4 games were pretty damn freaking solid defensive games. I definitely much better than what I had earlier in the season. I had that stretch, man, against Central Florida, SMU, Marshall, and Houston, where my defense was just freaking terrible. So they were okay against Tennessee. They were awful against Troy. They were good against Jacksonville State and ECU. Then they were bad for those 4-game stretch, and then they got good again for that last 4-game stretch. So it's the consistency standpoint, but also to the schedule and the talent and the teams you're playing too. But yeah. So all right. So that basically pretty much ends our season, at least from a playing level. I'm 4-8. Won't be making a bowl game, but I think it's something to grow on. Some positives here. Team that was expected to really be a 3-9 team. I was able to outdo that by a game. I had 1 or 2 more that I could have won. Didn't do it, but they were close, and definitely like some things I'm doing on the offensive side, particularly in the running game. Really liking it. Really started to like how my defense started coming together, especially these last 3 or 4 games. Like I said, calling these games and working through some of that stuff. I think some of the progressions and things that I started getting there on the defensive side started vastly improving from what they were. So that's definitely something to build on. Again, like I said, I'm losing a lot of those guys, but I got a lot, good recruiting. It appears to be a really good recruiting class coming in too. So with all these guys coming in, how which ones are going to be able to make the biggest impact, and kind of see the field the earliest. Not really sure. It'll be interesting to see. When we kind of move over to the next season, get them on the roster, and start looking at some of their actual ratings and kind of see where and how they fit in. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. So, what do we have? We had 240 players were committed this week. There's no 5-stars left. They've all recruited. I think there might only be one or two 4-stars. Maybe one left, and then you're starting to see some of these 2s and 1s kind of fill in too. So that kind of gets us up to 2111 left to commit, and I expect there probably to be about 2,700 just based off of what's leaving. So there's probably, I guess, in week 15, week 16, then you get into the bowl week, and however that works out, it's like 3 or 4 more weeks going down the road. There's probably going to be about 600 more commits, and then then once we get our transfers and find out who all's transferring, I have no idea really what I may be losing. I guess one thing you can kind of look at maybe is morale. Would probably be something that might be a telltale sign for what might actually leave. Arlen's morale, no, that's Haven. So he's graduating. Thank God. This guy, he's a freaking train wreck head case or something. I don't know what's going on with him. But he's gone. But you can look at, this Mitchell might be someone, he got some playing time with me though, so I don't know if he will or not. His morale's pretty low, but he's been injured the last few weeks too. You look at someone like Daly and Carter, a couple of these receivers. God, if I have a couple of these guys leave, it's like I'm already down on receivers, but they're not going to be big impacts even next year anyway, I don't think. Luker, I'd hate to see him go because he's probably going to get a lot more playing time next year. Newton, he's a starter. Schuler, I don't know. I wouldn't mind if he transferred. I need a quarterback to transfer, so I really don't want to cut one, but I need him or Farrell to go elsewhere. He's such a disappointment. He was my number 2 guy, originally looking at it. And I mean, he's played in 5 games. He's completed 4 out of 16 passes and no touchdowns and no pick. It's just freaking 25 yards. Just freaking awful. Awful. Oxford, Mississippi. But anyway, so I'm definitely stretching well into this episode. I need to go ahead and close this one out. So I'm going to go through, I guess, probably now on this next week. The only game that we have is this Army-Navy week, so it's really just going to be a recruiting week. I think what I'll do is go ahead and do all my outreaches and get all that stuff done and ready. I'll jump in and do an episode. We'll play this Army-Navy game, sim it, get it done, look at how we did on recruiting, and then we can kind of go over to the conference championships and kind of look at some of those, do the previews, and then actually play out those games and get them kind of done. And then maybe take the time to step through, since the recruiting's kind of getting low. It won't take long to go through recruiting on that week, do the outreaches there during the episode, and then in the week, and see kind of how that closes out, and then that'll get us up to the playoffs. So probably the next episode, episode 15, will be finishing out week 15 and 16 and getting into the playoffs. So with that, again, like I said, hope you guys enjoy, and any feedback, feel free to post up on the comments, and I'll try and respond to those as quickly as I can, or at least look at them and see. So if you have anything you want to add, or anything, any request or anything, or something that you want me to do differently, or kind of add to what I'm doing, just feel free to add the comments. And I'll close this one out. We'll see y'all in the next one.